everyone. Okay, so before we are going to start with our lesson this morning, let's have a prayer first. Okay, so Miss Miana, since I asked you to prepare a short but meaningful prayer for this morning session. Okay, so can you please lead the prayer? Okay, so in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Amen. Okay, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So thank you, Miss Miana. Okay, you may sit down. Okay, so again, good morning, class. Alright, so before we are going to start with our topic this morning, let's have let's check your attendance first, okay? Okay, so 28 students are present and 2 students are absent. Okay, so let's have a classroom management. Okay, so class, kindly, I observe your chairs is not in a proper line, so kindly align your chairs in this column, second, third, and so on. And please, Mr. Borromeo, kindly pick those pieces of paper on the floor. Okay, thank you, Mr. Borromeo. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide of our presentation this morning. Let's have a review first. Okay, so let's have a recap. Okay, so anyone in this class who can give me a recap or a short recap with our topic last meeting? Yes, Ms. Galanza, you are recognized. Okay, our topic last meeting was all about noun. Okay, so who among you here who can give me a short definition of a noun? Yes, Mr. Manillo. Okay, so we have here. Okay, we have here noun is used to identify any of a class of people, places, or things. Very good, Mr. Manillo. You may take your seat now. Okay, so Rina, Carlo, Vincent, Carl, Cherry, Tiza are those or examples of noun under people or person. Okay, we also have church, hospital, school. Those are noun under places. Yes, we also have laptop, cell phone, ball pen, class record, chairs, or tables. Those are noun example under things. Okay, are we clear about that, class? Alright, very good. Since Mr. Manillo and Miss Yolanda gave the topic or our recap last meeting, so who can give me an example or a sentence using noun? Anyone? Oops, do not answer me in chorus, class. I want you to raise your hand. If you know the answer, kindly raise your hand. Okay. Yes, Mr. Gutuman. Yes, Anna and Lisa are talking. Okay. So, what will be the noun of that sentence? Anna and, we have 2 nouns, Anna and Lisa. Okay, very good. So, what did Anna and Lisa do? They are talking to each other. Okay, very good. They are talking to each other. So, they're having a conversation. And that conversation or that talking action will relate to our new lesson this morning. Okay, so let's have a motivation first. Okay, a motivation. Okay, so let's play a game entitled Message Relay. Are you familiar with Message Relay, class? Okay, very good. Okay, so since you are familiar or most of your classmates answered that they are familiar with the game entitled Message Relay, okay, so you will be divided into 3 groups. Okay, and each group will choose their representative to go here in front, and then the representatives will be going to read the statement written or the sentence written and then on this piece of paper, small piece of paper. And then afterwards, the representative that the group choose will relay the message. Okay, relay the message to his or her group. Okay, then afterwards, the last person or the last member will go here in front, and then he or she will going to give me the exact sentence being written on this small piece of paper. Got it, class? Okay, very good. Okay, so since each group are all settled and already choose their representative or first representative, so your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, time's up. Time's up, time's up. Okay, so let's have first group 1. What is the exact sentence written on this small piece of paper? Yes, Rina eats banana. The banana has been eaten by Rina. Okay, very good. So you have 20 points for that. Okay. Group 2. Group 2 representative, come here. Okay, so what will be the exact sentence being written or being relayed by your classmate? Another answer from the group 2. Okay, another member. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Oclaret. Yes. Okay, black background, brown background. Okay, very good. Okay, so group 3. How about group 3? The answer is sheep should sleep in a shed. Okay, very good. Amazing class. Okay, so next. Okay, correct answer for group 1. Okay, for group 2 and for group 3. Okay, very good class. Thank you for your participation. Okay, so next slide is, since we have already motivation, let's move on to, let's have another activity in this lesson. Okay, so we have an activity. We have here direction using the Quiz Digital Learning application. You are going to answer the activity code jumbo letter. Okay, so can you click the link that I have been provided in our group? So I already provide a link in our group chat. So you can click that link so that you can be able to access and you can be able to join the game with our activity this morning. Okay. Okay, so let's have a motivation. Let's start a game entitled Jumbo Letter. Okay, so using this quizzes application. Just wait for the result of this game. Okay. Okay, so here is the code. Okay, here's the code of the game. Are we going to start this one? Okay. Yes, decoding. Very good. Let's see if the answer is correct. Perfect. Okay. So next. Okay. Next. Okay. Kiza. Kiza is a top player for this game. We have receiver. Let's see if your answer is correct. Okay, very good. How about this one? What will be the answer of this question? What will be the correct word for this? We have channels. Let's see if your answer is correct. Okay, your answer is correct, which is channel. Very good. We also have the message. Okay, perfect class. The answer is message. And then, question is, okay, what about the answer? Okay, sender. Let's see. Okay, the answer is sender. Then I think this would be the last one. Okay. Feedback. Let's see if feedback is okay. Very good. Feedback is the correct answer. Okay, that's the end of this motivation activity class. Okay, so thank you for your active participation. Okay, so let's move on to our presentation, PowerPoint presentation. Okay. We are done with our activity. Alright? Okay, good job. Okay, so let's move on to the analysis class. So based on our activity as well as the motivation, okay, what do you think, or do you have any idea what will be our topic this morning? Yes, Mr. Reza. Okay, very good. Our topic is, or the activity or the motivation has something to do with the talking activity or conversation. Yes, very good. Very good observation. Another one, any idea? Alright, very good. Our topic or the activity and the motivation has something to do with the communication. Yes, perfect. It is about communication class. Okay, so therefore, our topic this morning is all about the process of communication, its main elements, and its function. Okay. But before that, I will be going to introduce our objectives or learning outcomes of this topic or this lesson. So at the end of the lesson, the students should be able to understand the process of communication, acknowledge the important functions of each component of communication process, and apply the communication process on their own learning environment. Okay, so we have already finished introducing the learning objectives. So at this moment, I want you to give your 100% participation and observation of this discussion, because afterwards we will have sort of activities that would related to the topic or to the discussion that I have prepared this morning. Okay, is that okay, class? Okay, very good. So we have here, before we are going to define what is communication, who can give me their insight or their explanation what this picture being presented here on the screen? Anyone? I I know it is not new to you, class, because during your previous or your lower years, you have already encountered this one. Am I right? Yes, of course. So, okay. Yes, Miss Nicole. Yes, very good. It is a process of communication. Yes, it is a process of communication. So, next slide. Yes, very good. It is, as what Ms. Nicole said, it is a process of communication. So, what is communication? So, let's find out. Okay. So, communication is a process of exchanging or transmission of information. It is either on a television, radio, books, or it is also a process of having conversation. So, as what Mr. Carlos said, that the activities or the motivation has something to do with conversation or talking activities. Okay. So, we also have, okay, so in order to make the communication process more effective and efficient, okay, so in making a process of communication, in disseminating information, so we need to, we should make sure that it is effective and it is efficient. So how? In what way that the communication became effective and efficient, class? So, we have it requires elements and its specific function. So in order, so it stated here that in order to have a what we call this, in order for us to have an effective communication process, we need to further understand and elaborate first its main elements. So we have 6 main elements according to research. First, we have the message. Okay. Second, we have the sender. The third one is the receiver, and the fourth is the decoding process, and the channels, and the last one is the feedback. Okay. Very good. So, first element is the message. Okay. So we have here that the message, the function of message is it is transmitted by the sender. So, have you noticed that the message, it is the main source of information. It is the primary source of information.
And then we have the second elements of communication process, which is the sender. Okay, so talking about sender, it is to send the message to the receiver, class. Okay, so the sender is an individual who is responsible for initiating the communication. So what do you mean by individual? An individual who is responsible for initiating the communication. So I will give an example for this one, class. Okay, so when we talk about an individual who is responsible for initiating the communication, is that I have a friend, for example, Rina and I are talking. So, since I am the sender, so I will be the one who will initiate the communication. So I will give Rina a message or an information. So in that process, we can be able to understand what is the individual, an individual who is responsible for initiating the communication. So the sender in that scenario is me, because I am the person who initiate the talking, who initiate the communication. Okay, so we also have the third one, which third elements of communication process, which is the receiver. Okay, so going back to the example that I gave to you a while ago, that Rina and I are talking to each other, and then in that scenario, I am the sender of that is the second process of communication process. So that is the second element, the sender. So in the third process, we have the receiver. So the function of receiver is to receive and understand as well as the message given by the sender. So after I gave Rina an information or the message, so Rina will serve as the receiver. Okay, so Rina will going to what we call this. Rina will going to receive the message and understand the message whom I gave to her earlier. So next one, we also have the decoding process of communication. So in decoding process of communication, since Rina, or example, a while ago, that since Rina serves as the receiver, so afterwards, Rina will automatically decode the message given by me. So I give her a message, and then she is the receiver, and then after she received the message, she will be going to understand the
Message content accurately.
Okay, so question class, what happen if the receiver might fail to decode correctly the message? What do you think might happen?
So it can possibly cause forms of misinterpretation. So if the receiver will not interpret the message accurately, so that's the main reason, or that's the reason why we can experience a sort of misinterpretation or misunderstanding of that message or of that information. Who among you here who have already experienced that kind of scenario or situation wherein instead of Rina send you a message which has a content of happy message, and then you are interpreting it not accurately. So you thought that Rina is not happy, you thought that Rina is angry, but it is not the way Rina feels. Okay, it's not that Rina feel that way. So that's one of the forms of interpretation of a process of communication. If we cannot able to interpret the message correctly and accurately. So always take note of that, class. Okay, so we also have the elements of communication, which is the fifth one is the channel. So in the channels, it is a process wherein the sender will decide their preferred channels upon disseminating information to its audience. Okay, so the message could be disseminate either a form of printed materials like books, magazines, or newspaper. Okay, so we also have soft copy, an article form, or through blogging or public speaking. Also social media. Okay, so that's what we call channels. Okay, process of communication. And then let's move on to the last process of communication. It is number 6, class. It's my mistake to put that 7 elements here. Okay, instead of 7, it is 6. Okay. Please do take note of that. So feedback. We have the feedback. So it is the moment of truth. Okay. So it is for me as your teacher, I can say that the feedback is one of the very what we call this, the moment of truth in assessing if the communication will prove what we call this, if the communication disseminate effectively or spread effectively. Because in the feedback process of communication, it completes the elements of communication process and the last process of communication. So the feedbacking or the opinions, the suggestions of the audiences will occur in this process, which is feedback. If you are going to, if you are the source of the main idea or of the information, if you are the source of the information, so you have to accept what will be the outcomes or what will be the feedback of the audience, okay, based on the information that you are giving to them. So this is in here we can able to assess ourselves if there is something wrong with the information that we are giving to them or that we are disseminating to them. So that's the purpose of feedback. So there is a interaction or there is a interactive communication happen in feedback process. Okay, so I guess yeah, that's the end of slides. So again, what are those main elements of communication process? Anyone? Okay, very good. We have the message first, second is the sender, and then the third is the receiver. We also have the decoding, and then after the decoding is the, okay, we have the channels, the fifth one, and the last one is feedback or feedbacking. Very good class. Okay. So generalization class. Okay, so in generalization, I want to ask you if you have any clarifications, any violent reaction or questions with regards to our discussion this morning. Do you have any question? Okay, students at the back. Do you have any questions? None so far, ma'am. Okay, very good. None so far. Let's see. Okay, so let's move on to our application. Okay, in the application process, we have group activity entitled Correct Me. Okay, so we have here the instruction. You are divided into 5 groups, and then each group is given in an incorrect process of communication and the elements. Okay, as a team, you are required to correct those components based on the discussion that we had while ago and present the correct illustration provided of communication process in the class. Okay, so groups who finish the task first will be proclaimed as winners, and to those groups who might fail to follow the time given will also recognize and shall receive points depending on how they will arrange or rearrange the elements of communication process properly. Each group shall be also given 1 minute to finish the group activity. So, I here class. Okay. So I have here a set of process of communication, but take note they are not the correct process of communication. They are not they are incorrect process of communication. So all you need to do, this is group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and group 5. So all you need to do is you have to rearrange this one. Okay? You have to rearrange. Okay, so do you have a representative with group 1, 2, 3? How about group 4, 5? Okay, come here in front, and then you'll be given only 1 minute to finish this activity. So, let's see if the answers of each group are correct. Okay. Presenter number 1, can you read your answer? We have, okay, the group 1 answered message, sender, receiver, decoding, channels, and feedback. Perfect, correct. Okay, got 50 points for that. For the group 2, presenter group 2, come here in front. Okay, they also have, same with group 1, message, sender, channels, receiver, decoding, and feedback. Okay, another 50 points for group 2. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so we have also the group 3 message. They also answered sender, receiver, decoding, channels, and feedback. Okay, perfect for group 3. And group 4, they also have message, sender, receiver, decoding, channels, and feedback. Same with first group 3. Okay, so first 3 groups. And then we also have the last group, which is group 5. They also have message, sender, receiver, decoding, channels, and feedback. Okay, congratulations, class. Let's give yourselves a round of applause for completing the task or for completing the group activity on time. Okay, so perfect. Okay. So, this is the correct answer. Okay, message, sender, receiver, decoding, channels, and feedback. Okay. So, assessment. For your assessment, okay, let's have an evaluation 1. Create a slogan that, okay, so, Miss President, kindly come in front and then take a picture of the evaluation because I have given here the instruction. You are going to create a slogan that represents your own understanding on a communication process based on our today's discussion. Please don't forget to indicate its 6 main components. So those are the 6 main components in making your slogan. And please do comprehend their specific functions. After making your slogan, upload it in your Facebook timeline with this hashtag #MySlogan#MyStory. Okay. And hashtag elements of communication process. And then after that, please do not forget to tag my name on Facebook, Kiza Sarmiento Tamudmod, and then to be submit it before 12 p.m. midnight. Okay. Are we clear? Okay, very good. And then we have the assignment, the last part of our lesson. For your assignment, kindly research the 2 components of communication, the linear process of communication and the conventional process of communication, and read it thoroughly. After reading and understanding these 2 main components of communication, kindly create a Venn diagram and submit it in next meeting. Okay, so I guess that's the end of our discussion for today's morning class. Thank you so much for your active participation and God bless. Okay. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.